Hello, welcome to the crash course for formatting your manuscript to be ready for print using the LibreOffice Writer word processing software. I would like to point out that this is just for the print varieties of your book, both paperback and hardcover. Ebook will be a separate video because while it's mostly the same thing, it's different enough that I don't want to get too bogged down in all these minute little changes you might have to do. I just want to touch on why we're going to be using LibreOffice Writer. First of all, it is free, 100% free, so you can't go wrong with that. I mean, I just refuse to pay for Microsoft Word, like the subscription-based model or whatever they have. I'm not doing that. And LibreOffice Writer also has all of the tools you need to format your book correctly for both print and ebook, which I haven't been able to find with any other free word processing software. And we're going to be using real examples from my book so you can see the end goal, what we're shooting for, and why. I feel like that helps the process. All right, so you got the cover, obviously. Then this first insert is like a tag board type page. We don't add that in the formatting, that just comes with Amazon. This page is optional to have the writing on here. I kind of used it to protect the rest of the book. This page mandatory, right? Title, subtitle, author name. On the left, you'll have your copyright. Write a dedication. If you have like a preface you want to add, it starts on the left. Table of contents also starts on the left. You'll see the Count of Monte Cristo is pretty long, right? 117 chapters. Sorry, I'm on my phone. It doesn't focus super well. And then your text always starts on the right. The new volume, new chapter. But you'll see page 1, there's no page number. Page 2 does have a page number even with no text, and your new chapters always start on the right. So that's what we're going for. And then we'll just go through and we'll do like 3 chapters, because once you can do 3 chapters, you can do 1,000. It's the same process. Here are some quick general guidelines. You can choose any font you want. It's your book. But cleaner is definitely more attractive to people. So something like Times New Roman, Garamond, or Georgia are probably the 3 most popular ones I saw. Size, stick with 11 or 12. Line spacing, 1.25 or 1.5. We're going to be using a justified alignment. We're going to be using page breaks, so not just hitting enter to start a new page, because that'll really mess you up if you start adding or subtracting lines later on. And then we're going to tab indent all paragraphs except for the first one in a new chapter. For a fiction book, nonfiction books get a line break instead of a tab. And something else you have to keep in mind at the start of this formatting process is the page size you're going to be using. And this chart is from the Amazon KDP website. I'll link it in the description so you guys can look at it online. Pause the video here, whatever. But you can see we have paperback up on the top. We have hardcover down here on the bottom third or whatever that is. And then you have black ink and cream paper, which is probably the most popular choice. So we're just going to be looking at this column right now for my example at least. 6x9 is also probably the most popular choice for fiction books. So if you look there, you can see the minimum and maximum number of pages. But then if we go down to hardcover 6x9, we can see that the max number of pages is significantly smaller. And so the reason I had to have 2 different page sizes between paperback and hardcover was because I was over 550 pages when the page size was 6x9. So what I had to do was change my page size for hardcover to 7x10. Right? If you have a wider and a longer page, you can fit more words on the page, and your book becomes shorter in a sense of the number of pages. And I was able to just barely squeak under that maximum limit. So keep that in mind. If you do need 2 different page sizes, make sure you go to File, Save As, and name them appropriately. Paperback in all caps or hardcover in all caps or something, so you don't get them mixed up. All right, so your text file probably looks something like this. First thing I like to do, this very bottom right corner, there's these three icons. Click on Book View. And you'll see it lays it out kind of like you would see in a book, where odd number page will be on the right, and then even page will be on the left, and you'll have this gutter here in the middle. I feel like that just helps me keep everything nice and organized. Second thing, come up here to this backwards P, click that, and that's definitely going to help with all the formatting changes we're about to make. Alright, the next step is go up to Edit, select all, or you can hit Control A. Set your font. I went with Georgia and 12 point, and we've got it justified. Once you have those set, go up to Format, Spacing, choose your spacing. I'm going with 1.15. You can do 1.5 if you want. Next step involves a little back and forth from the word processor to another KDP table, but I right click, go to page style, click page here on the left column. This drop down menu, you go to user. I want to do 9 by 6 on this book, so that's 6 inches wide, 9 inches tall. Now hit apply. And you see in the bottom left, it has your number of pages now. So I'm at 324. Just keep that in mind. Alright, this table is from the previously linked KDP page from Amazon, but you can pause here if it's easier. It just shows you that inside margin you have to set based on the number of pages you have. So I'm between the 301 to 500 pages, so I need a 0.625 inside margin. So back to our word processor, again right click, go to page style, go into page from this left side menu again, and this is where you set the gutter margin. And actually before we set that, I forgot one more thing. Page layout, we go to mirrored. 1, 2, 3, left. Alright, so inner margin, we got 1. Outer, this is the outside edge, the non-gutter margin. It's going to be 0.6. The top we have 1 inch, bottom we have 1 inch, and the gutter here is that 0.625 that I had based on the number of pages in my book. Hit apply, hit OK, and then your number of pages might change. So mine went up, what was that, 9 pages? So if you're right on the cusp of one tier the next, you might have to go back and forth again, adjust the margins, come back and redo it. But we're good for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. I do not want to lose this progress. And you're going to be setting all of your chapter titles as heading 1. And that's going to change the text. What you can do is click here, go down to edit style, pick your font, right? So I'm doing Georgia, and that's it. I'm going to hit apply. So now every time you apply heading 1 to a chapter title, it'll stick with Georgia and not go back to Times New Roman. So do that. I'm setting this as heading 1 just to demonstrate something later on. I like my chapters to start, I don't know, let's say halfway down the page. And you have to keep this in mind. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 return lines here. You need to make them uniform going forward. I'm only going to format this first chapter right now. I'm going to come back and do chapters 2 and 3 later on to demonstrate something else, but this is good for now. Alright, so now that we have that set up, we can start adding some of the pre-book content. So click your very top line here. You're going to go to Insert, Page Break, or you can hit Control Enter. So this is going to be that very first page we had that was after that little tag board insert. I don't want this as heading 1. We could set it as title, you could set it as body text, text body. You just don't want it as heading 1 because that will mess up our table of contents later. Let's just do text body. Georgia, you know, whatever you want your title, subtitle. This will be centered. And so this very first page, you know, you can omit it, you can have it blank, or you can have something like this. You know, I want my title and subtitle about, you know, a third of the way down. I'll make my subtitle size 18, right? It looks a little goofy, doesn't look centered, but that's because we have this extra gutter on the inside. And actually, I don't think this changed to Georgia, so I'm just going to highlight it. Georgia, there we go. And I'm actually going to copy this because I'm going to use it on the next bit of text we have too. I'm just going to hit Control Enter to make a blank page. Now this new page we made is the back side of this page, and there's no content on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control Enter a second time, and now we have what would be the second page you would see after you opened up the book. So I'm going to go about a third of the way down. I'm just going to paste my title and subtitle from up here. I'm just going to add my name, right, and we're going to put this, you know, a third of the way down or so. And then you can put your author name kind of wherever you want to. I'm going to put it at the very bottom of this page. Well, we got that. So click after the end of your name. I'm going to hit Control Enter again for a page break. Now this, right, this will be the back side of this title page, which will contain kind of a generic copyright notice. Whoops. Which I'll put this in the description. You know, if it's after 2025, you have to change the year. Oops. Get rid of that. And then this ISBN part you'll add at the very, very end. You have to upload your essentially finished book product to get your ISBN. So I leave this in here just as a placeholder. I don't know, if you want to make sure you don't forget it, you could do something like this and highlight it yellow so you don't like submit to Bowker or Amazon with this part missing. Now, Control Enter one more time. So a new page. This would be like a dedication page. Oops. Oops. Let's get rid of that. What do I do? No fill? There we go. So you can add this later if you want. All right. After the dedication page, if you're going to have one, let's go ahead and hit Control Enter again for a page break. And here's where you add a preface to add context. Since I'm doing a modernized version of the Odyssey, I'm going to add a few paragraphs here about some context, why I made the changes I did. So people are they know what to expect, right? I mean, they should be reading the preface before they start the book, and hopefully it just helps them know what to expect once they start reading. So write your preface. I'm not going to do it here. Again, Control Enter for a page break. This is going to be your table of contents. Table of contents always starts on the right page. So if your preface was 2 pages long, what you would do would be hit Control Enter again. This will be a blank page because this is the back side of your second preface page. So hit Control Enter again. And this is where your table of contents will go, because this is the right side of the page, of the book in book view. And you just go up here to Insert. We're going to go down to Table of Contents and Index. And then it's this first one right here. And we're not going to mess with these too much. It should be the default entries. Just go ahead and hit OK. And all right, you can see I've got some stuff that filled in here. Everything you have selected as heading 1 will automatically appear in here in the order it is in the book. So clearly I have some things marked as heading 1 later on in the book that shouldn't be. We're going to fix that right now. All right, and through the power of video editing, you guys kind of get to see this in real time. When you remove something that's heading 1 or add a heading 1, you want to right click on this, and there's update. And now we'll see I only have one chapter. They're called books in the Odyssey, but I only have one because I only have one heading 1. If I scroll down to, let me find where chapter 2 starts, or book 2. Yeah, see, I gotta go back and do some more formatting, but let's just say I'm gonna set this as heading 1. Oops. We then right-click table of contents, update. There's chapter 2. Gotta pay attention a little bit because this is probably the most confusing aspect of this whole formatting process. So what we're gonna do, go to View, Styles, or you can press F11. That'll bring up this bar on the right side. These little icons up here, 1, 2, 3, 4 over is page styles. You'll click that. You'll be on paragraph styles to start, but go over to the 4th one. Page styles. You should have default. Right click on that, go to edit, and this left bar, footer, turn off the footer. Apply, OK. And then we're going to make a new page style. So I already have one called Converted 1, but I'll make a new one. So you just right click in here, New. I'm just going to call this New YouTube. Then you go to the page subcategory here, and it's the same thing. User, we're going to do right at 6 by 9. The margins were 1. What is that? Mirrored. Outer was what? 0.6. And if you forget what your margins are, while you're working on this, you can hit OK, click anywhere on your book, right click, go to page. Yeah, we have 1 inner, 1 top, 1 bottom, 0.6 outer. I guess it rounded for me, 0.63. So I'm going to go to my new YouTube, left click, right click to edit style. Yeah, 1 inch inner, 1 inch top, 1 inch bottom, 0.6 on the outer, 0.63 gutter. Page layout is mirrored. Apply, OK. So now we have a new page style made. What we're going to do here, click the very first line of the text in your book. Right, so click the very top, Insert, More Breaks, Manual Break. Leave page break checked. Page style is going to be that new page style you just made. So mine is New YouTube. Check this, change page number. OK. Now, let's just make sure if we right click on our page style, edit style, I just want to make sure the footer, there we go. Turn the footer on for your new page style that you just made. Apply, OK. Now that we're in here, see how the footer is different between these two pages. Default page style is before that break we just entered, and the footer for your new style will be different on the meat of your text, which is what we're looking for. So click the footer of your new page style, insert, page number, center, yep. There you go, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We have numbers here, but nothing in the, no numbers in the front matter. No page numbers, I should say. If you can do that, we are on the home stretch now. That's the most difficult part of this whole formatting process. All right, so we have 2 more style changes we have to make. First one is to the header. If we click up here, top left, go down to heading 1. There's a little drop down arrow here. Click that, edit style, go to font, select your the font of your choosing for your chapter title. So I'm sticking with Georgia, bold, and 16 point. For the second change, same thing, top left menu, go to body text, a little down arrow, edit style, same thing, Georgia, 12 point font, regular, whatever you want to choose here. Whoops, actually I forgot something. Go back to that edit style page of body text. From this left menu, indents and spacing, first line right here, change that to 0.42. That'll automatically indent the first line of every new paragraph. Have that set, we'll hit apply. And you could probably see right there, just automatically indented all of these paragraphs for us, so you don't have to go through and manually do it. All you have to do is go to the top paragraph and delete. And just remember, that's only for fiction books. If you're doing nonfiction, don't worry about that last part about having the automatic indents. And looking at this, I can already tell I forgot something else when we're editing this text style. So again, back to body text, edit style, alignment, we want justified. And you see how my, text here automatically went to the justified alignment style? That's because I already had it set as this body text style. So you can tell by just clicking anywhere in your text, and it'll say body text. It'll pop right up, which will make a little more sense right here. So highlight your title and all the spacing above it. Top left, if it, you want to set this as heading 1, and that'll apply your font size to your spacing and your font and font size to your chapter title. And just make sure you remember how many spaces you have above your title. I mean, you could have this start at the top of the page, halfway down. It's kind of a stylistic choice on your part, but just, you have to make it consistent. So I'm going to do 4. All right, then next up is the body text formatting. So just select all of the text of your chapter. Just holding and scrolling. And this will be a good point, a good demonstration point here. So I already have it set as body text. If I click it again, I think it like undoes it. It's like a weird problem with LibreOffice Writer. So we'll see it bolded everything. I don't know why it does that. I just click bold, whatever that was, 3 times, and it undoes it. So there you go. Then you have your body text formatted. Now, before we go on to formatting chapter 2, we can see I already have a page break in here. That's what this blue dotted line is. But in traditional fiction publishing, a new chapter always starts on the right. So I'm just going to click the top of my next chapter, just hit Control-Enter, add a blank page, so I can have my next chapter starting on the right page of my book. And then we just rinse and repeat. Select your chapter title, all the spaces above it, heading 1, 1, 2, 3, I got my 4 spaces. This is already set as body text, so I'm not going to redo it. But you can see my first paragraph is not indented, and every paragraph after that is. So I'm just going to scroll down. There we go. That looks good. And look, chapter 3 is already starting on the right. Rinse and repeat. Chapter title, all the spacing above. Heading 1, I've got an extra line in here. Right, so we just have 4. So now that we start with an indent, after we select all of the text from chapter 3, set it as body text. All right. Just double click bold if that happens, right? Go to the top and you just have to delete that indent. And that's the process. You just do that process for every chapter. There we go. And one last final point. Make sure you go back up to your table of contents, right-click, update, and your heading ones will automatically fill in. Just don't forget to do that. Anytime you add a page or remove a page, you have to do that too because these page numbers will change on you. Just a good little pro tip to do it, before you save it for your final submission anywhere. And I mean, that's really it. Once you've finished, formatting all of the text, you're going to upload this as a PDF to Amazon KDP or wherever. So one easy way to do that is go to File, Print. All right, stick with me here. And under Printer, you should have an option to print to PDF. And then it's going to ask you a file name. Right, we'll just say like title. I would call it like title print only, because you don't want to get this confused with your ebook. And then you can just save it, and it will automatically convert this entire document to a PDF for you with this title. You don't have to worry about converting it in like Adobe or anything like that. But that is it for the video. If it helped you, which hopefully it did, please give a like and a subscribe, a comment, share it with other up-and-coming authors. It's a big help. But thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.